Okay, we're moving right along. Now let's go ahead and review the syllabus. Very, very important document. Keep that close by you throughout the entire semester. It's going to guide you. It's going to inform you of. It's going to highlight a lot of the assignments, what the due dates, and what particular assignments you'll need to do for that particular week. So we'll go ahead and review it in a few minutes. If I should make any changes throughout the semester, I will remove the syllabus that's attached there and the one you download, and I'll upload a new one. But I'll make sure and make you aware of it, okay? To make sure that we stay up to date on the particular assignments, okay? So I'm going to disappear for just a minute, and so that we can go ahead and review the syllabus, okay? Let's see here. Okay. Go here. All right. Application. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, the entire screen. So here we go. Allow. Okay, there we go. Okay. There you go. This is the screen right here. Okay, this is what your first page is going to look like, your front page. And let's go ahead and get the syllabus. Now, what I've done here in this particular section, I've gone to the reading materials and went to the syllabus subsection. And as you can see, you have this particular title, the title of the course in the syllabus right here, you can click on that and it'll automatically download. It'll look like something like this. And then you hit OK, and it'll automatically download into your download folder. I'm using a Mac computer. If you have a Windows computer, it may look a little bit different. The download may look a little bit different. However, it still has that same feature where you will have a feature like this attached file. You click on the attached file, and it'll download it into your system. Just follow the directions there. Or you can just view online the particular syllabus. This is the syllabus right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and review it. We're not going to go through all the detail of it. However, I will emphasize the main points, okay? So we're going to be Thursdays at 6 p.m. This is for the spring semester of 2017. This is my email address, my office number, and you're always able to contact me. If for some reason I do not answer, please leave me a message. I will make sure and get back with you. I'm usually pretty good at returning my calls quickly. So just make sure and leave me a message and a brief message, what the call is all about. See, the office, if you need advising, or you have some questions for me and you want to meet with me, I'm going to be honest with you, the most effective, the most efficient way of contacting me is by, first of all, either email me or call me, and we can set up a virtual appointment, which is the most effective. This will help get to the issue a lot faster, or your questions or concerns a lot quicker, okay? However, if you need to see me in person, please call me anyway or email me so that we can set up an appointment for that, okay? This is where my office is located. It's 205 Wildcat Drive. It's room 212 in Del Rio. So for those of you that are in the Carrizo Springs, Eagle Pass, Uvalde, or other towns, make sure you email me or call me. You're welcome to travel to Del Rio, or we can speak through Collaborate in a virtual meeting. So that's up to you how you want to proceed. The counseling program webpage. Again, we're constantly modifying, adding things to our webpage for the counseling program. You want to get information about what's going on, such as the end of year fiesta that we have for the counseling program. And I know we're working really hard at Facebook, and also other activities that we're trying to establish for the program as we're growing more and more. So stay in tune with a lot of the current information that's going on with the counseling program by accessing the webpage. If you want to contact the dean, that is Dr. Veronica Mendez. And this is her webpage. This is information. So, for example, if you click on here, it'll take you straight to her page. And that's Dr. Veronica Mendez, and that is our team. Tells you a little bit about her, all this information as well. Okay, let's go back to our syllabus. And same thing for the department chair. You got Dr. Monica Gutierrez. Some of you may have her as a professor. Uh, and this is Dr. Oops, they must be working on it. Okay, but I'm sure it'll upload. She just recently became the chair, which is probably why it's uploading at this point in time. But some of you may have her for class. She does teach the counseling program, even though she is the chair for the educational department. Okay, this is the required text. This is the ISBN number that you'll need to throughout the semester. And this is the second book that you'll need, Advocacy Strategies for Mental Health and Mental Health Professionals. That's the ISBN number. These are some of the course prerequisites. Some of you required authorization to enter into the program, so for various reasons. And these are the prerequisites that are needed for the program or for this particular course. And the purpose for this course, again, is listed right here. As most of you know, fall of 2017, the Texas legislature passed, but not the legislature, but the whole national level, counseling programs have to be up to a 60-hour program now. And that's why you came in a time where there's transition, which is why I've provided this statement here. So not only did we increase to 60 hours, which is required for every counseling program, no matter where you go to school, but at the same time, we took advantage of it and developed new specialties that are going to be extremely beneficial to you in your career. The course description, you'll find it right here. Same thing with the goal. Now, we do have course objectives, which are three specific areas of interest to us as your professors and as your educators. We want to be able to instill knowledge and influence your skills, your analytical reasoning skills, your logic, as well as your awareness and your ability to recall information when awareness is established. These are the modular learning outcomes. So you have the course objectives here. So this particular course objective, it's more refined. This is a kind of, you want to look at it more, this is like a goal, and these are the two objectives, or in this case, module 1 and module 2, the two specific outcomes that we're hoping to see in reaching this particular goal for you. For example, this particular objective here, module 1, you're going to gain this information and this knowledge or skill that's identified here in week 1 and week 2. How are you going to do it? Well, you're going to receive weekly quizzes, video reflections, and your final exam, as well as a collaborative classroom discussion, which is extremely important, as I mentioned in the previous video on Collaborate. Week module 2, or again, objective 2, you'll be able to hopefully acquire this information and skill or skill week 3, week 4, or week 5, and this is how this is the method that we're going to use to accomplish this particular task of influencing your knowledge, receptiveness, as well as establishing or developing your skills. And the same thing, and it goes on. This is the second goal, and this particular goal has also 2 particular modules, and you'll learn them in week 6, week 7, and this is the method by which we will use to employ or help you gain this particular knowledge or skill or awareness. And it goes on through all the different modules, goal particular objectives. So again, the first column, you'll notice these are the goals, which is a very general statement, but general but specific in the sense that we want to make sure and that you complete this particular course for the semester and gain all this. Okay, and the modules are really more the objectives that help to fuel or to feed and accomplish the goal. And the third column tells you when we hope to deliver that particular information. And then the fourth column, of course, is the method that we're going to use to help provide this particular information. American with Disabilities Act. This is your blanket statement, and a little bit further down, you're going to get some information if you have a disability, who to contact, a specific point of contact, phone number or email address, and who to contact. If you need some additional services or assistance in achieving your goals and getting a graduate degree. You have student support services. This is a web page. So this gives you a really brief narrative on what to expect from the student services. However, if you want more detailed information, just go here and it'll take you straight to student services. Let's go ahead and do that at this point. Click there, and then you can click it here, and it gives you all information on what you can gain from visiting with the student services. And these are all the different documents and forms and more narratives and descriptions of things that they provide as well, some of their responsibilities. Okay, so let's exit out of that and let's go back. As far as student services, these are our representatives for each site. The Joe campus, we have Julie. Matter of fact, I'm thinking that she's going to be leaving soon, if I'm not mistaken. However, if she hasn't already left, but I will make sure and update this as soon as we have a representative. But this is the phone number that you would contact for the Delaware area. Then Eagle Pass, you have Juan Tames, and Uvalde have Celso Garza. Now, as far as technology requirements, again, this is a technological driven course. We call enhanced media streamlining. Okay, so your computers require certain specifications. Okay, and so all the system the hardware as well as the system requirements are all identified here, and what's recommended with the minimum requirements of whether you're using a Windows or using a Mac. These are the specific information, and this is very important because even though a lot of the computers that are out there right now pretty much already automatically meet the specifications pretty much. However, I wouldn't take that for granted or assume that. I would take your desktop or your laptop, whatever you use, and take it to the IT department, make an appointment, and make sure that you have the proper software, that everything's working well, so that you won't have any problems whenever we're collaborating during our weekly session. So make sure that you do that, because you need to download certain software. These are that particular features, whether you're using Mac or, in this case, this particular software is not necessary for the Mac. But for example, over here, let's say QuickTime or Media or whatever software you need that's identified. If you're using a PC, you just download this and it takes you right to it. Using a Mac, you go here. For example, QuickTime, just hit download and it takes you straight to the site and you download it. Okay. All right, and then you have Blackboard, and as I mentioned in the previous videos, give you a description of Blackboard. And just real briefly, I know I've already reviewed this. However, let me just, for the sake of it being present right now, let me go ahead and just briefly review it again. Our course setup on the left side of the menu, you will find your orientation where you have all the videos, which is the one you're watching right now. You have the 6 videos to help each student navigate throughout the semester through these particular features that are in Blackboard. And then communication basically is how to communicate between you and I, to make sure that you have all the means in which to communicate. Whether you want advising, virtual meeting, or you want to talk over the phone, or if you need to email me something, or if you have some questions and you don't want to talk about it in class, then you're more than welcome to speak to me one-on-one, whether it's virtual or telephonic or whatever means, okay? However, I will be telling you, if it's particular assignment questions and there's a little bit of shyness within your personality, I'm going to encourage you to bring those type of questions up in class so that other people can benefit from your insight, even though it may be a little bit nerve-wracking for you, but that's part of your development, your skill development, and our objective is to make sure and to help you develop into an effective counselor. And sometimes it means being okay with where you're at and your emotions and things of that sort, and how you perceive things. So if your personality reflects the tinge of introversion, then understand that you're not the only one, and that we'll provide the safe environment so that you can communicate whatever's on your mind. Okay. As far as reading assignments here, we have your book, your articles, and things of that sort. Assignment is probably the key area that you're going to spend most of your time. Okay. It's in this particular area that you'll find all your assignments. Okay. And then tools are particular things that you're going to need to help you throughout your semester if things should arise, should the need arise. Now, there's a difference between individuals that work on Blackboard and uh, and those that work on your IT department and work on hardware and software. For Blackboard questions, you would contact Sandy Bogus, and this is her number. She's out of Appy. She's a wonderful person. I've worked with her quite a bit. She's an excellent individual, and I assure you that if she doesn't know, she will find out for you. During the weekend, this is who you would call. But again, do not call these individuals for IT problems, such as my network's not connecting. My, for some reason, I can't get into the Sol Ross website, or it's something that is source. If it has something to do with software or hardware, contact the IT department, and their number is a little bit further down. This is who you would call the IT technologist. WO, EOPass, and Uvalde. These are the phone numbers of the individuals. For Blackboard specific and only for Blackboard, you contact these two individuals. Okay. Collaborative streaming, again, is going to be extremely important, as I mentioned before, to have your video on at all times. I want to see you. I want to hear you. I know you can type in your responses, and some of you may be comfortable in that, but that may be okay for other classes, not for this class or any of my classes, because it's very important for me to view you. It's very important for your peers to view you as you're expressing yourself, as you're speaking your perspective, speaking about your perspective. Okay, so keep your video on at all times, and also speak through your microphone. Turn your microphone on again, as I mentioned before, only when you're speaking, and please mute it whenever you're not, and keep the background noise down to a minimum. Now, I will say too that when you are in class and you're collaborating with me, try to keep whoever's in your household away from the network. Sometimes your cell phones, turn off the Wi-Fi. People are using your iPads, laptops, desktops, gaming, things of that sort. If you can turn them off for that time that you're with me in class, because that's going to help drain some of the speed that your home network provides. And you may think that you keep losing connection, and you may be thinking it's because something going on with Sol Ross, but in all reality, it's your network that's drained. Okay, so if you can tell your family members, your children, to stay off the network while you're in class, I would appreciate that greatly, because I'm going to be honest with you. I understand that sometimes we have networks, and when we get thunderstorms, so it does happen. However, when we start seeing a consistent pattern of constantly, you keep losing signal, I can't understand you, can't see you, there's haziness, all kinds of things going on, I'm going to encourage you, once I see a pattern, and I'll tell you in private as well, I've got some recommendations here as well, then I'm going to insist that you go down to one of the colleges, whether it's W or Eagle Pass, they go to the computer lab and use their computers, okay? But if you want to stay away from there and stay in the home setting, which is a bit more comfortable, make sure that everything's up to speed. You've already talked to IT, they've looked at your hardware, software, and when you are in the counseling, when you are in the class session, make sure you let your family members know to stay off the Wi-Fi for that period of time while you are in class, okay? And if you have problems with Blackboard, as I mentioned, contact these two individuals. If you have problems with IT or software, hardware, software, contact these individuals. Okay. Now, this is for those with the disabilities, this is who you would contact. It doesn't matter what disability you have. If you need some assistance, we don't want that to be a barrier for you. We will do everything we can to assist you so that you can achieve your goal and acquire the education, training, and skills for whatever goals you have for yourself, okay? This is the person's email. It's kbiddick@solross.edu. Again, that's kbiddick@solross.edu, and that's Miss Kathy Biddick. She's out of Uvalde. Her number is 830-279-3003. That's who you would contact, and she would direct you and help you with whatever services you're needed. And she comes out of the Student Services Department as well. She's the Student Services Specialist. Again, there's a lot of diversity within our classes, so please respect each other's culture and method of communication. and I'm more focused on the not the content, but the perceptive development and in the manner in which you deliver your meaning. Okay, but when there's diversity, sometimes people present themselves differently. It doesn't mean that's bad or good. It just is what it is. So if you can respect each other's perspective and diversity, uh, I would greatly appreciate it. Scholastic misconduct, no cheating. I believe that you'll see that when you've taken my classes. I really want you to focus on, I'm really interested in your perspective on many things because I want you to develop your prefrontal cortex and the way you see things. So there's no need for any kind of scholastic misconduct. If you're having some difficulty, contact me. Okay, I don't want you to feel threatened. I want you to contact me and let's talk about that. There's no need to resort to any kind of misconduct that it's just not acceptable. It works contrary to what you're doing in graduate school. So there's some issues and sometimes things do come up. However, please contact me if I can assist you with anything. Okay. Etiquette and expectations. Make sure carry yourself with professionalism. You are a graduate student. You're not an undergraduate. Not to say that undergraduates are not professional. I'm just saying that you're a graduate student, more maturity. You're centered on you chose this particular career field of study, so you're in your zone. So let's see that passion, to see your respect and for others as well as for yourself, and I do maintain decorum in our classes as well. I do give you the liberty and freedom to speak your piece, but I will not accept defamatory or sarcastic or degrading, uh, not only verbiage but also tones. Okay, and if that's necessary, well, we're going to talk about it in class because people need to see how you unravel that. So just maintain your level of respect, and how you address issues. Okay. In other words, don't let the emotions get the best of you. And we'll definitely learn a lot more about that in class. But always feel free to contact me, shoot me an email, so we can talk about it some more. Okay. Attendance, attend. I literally had an individual who contacted me from Puerto Rico simply because she was adamant about not missing class, and she had access to a network and took her laptop and she signed into class in Puerto Rico when she was on vacation. So again, that's the benefit of having collaborate and using that as a resource for your course, for your courses. So really, it kind of limits the rationale behind why you miss class. It has to be extremely extenuating circumstances that will keep you from class. So again, if I see a pattern, it's going to affect your grade. You let a grade, and as it has a couple of people that that could have had a B but ended up with a C, and you really need a B if you want to continue in graduate work. So make sure you attend. Now, our first day in class, everyone's going to introduce themselves, and just as I'm going to introduce myself, tell a little bit about myself. I'm kind of giving you a list of items that I would like for you to speak about as you're introducing yourself to your classmates. Your full name, your place of birth, place you were raised. Uh, Describe your family or your culture that best describes you, because some individuals may not have been raised with your traditional parents. So describe your family, describe your culture that best describes you. Okay. Your interest in your undergraduate degree. I'm really curious to what what undergraduate degree you earned, and also the rationale for entering into the counseling program. That's always a very interesting response. And what you hope to accomplish within the counseling training. For some of you, you're going to go straight into mental health. Some of you are going to go to schools and become a school counselor. Others will go into the military. Some will work for the FBI, and some will work for different entities throughout our communities. So your attendance is recorded. It is a grade. Okay, and you want to get the 100 points for that day, and I do keep a roster of attendance. Okay, so if you find yourself receiving a call from me or an email from me to contact me to discuss your attendance, That's not good because that means the pattern is already present and we need to do something immediately or it will affect your ability to pass the course. Okay. And it would be tough for you not to get a passing grade, knowing the content and having the skill, but not being responsible to attend class. Okay, again, things do come up. I understand, but get with me. Speak. Send me an email. Contact me. All right. Again, we're graduate students, right? Late work. Uh, Turn in your work when it's due. Okay, and everything's pretty much automated, so you get your grade immediately when you do the assignment. However, there's some quizzes that, of course, have multiple choice questions or fill in the blank, and make sure you have to finish your quiz 2 days before the next class meet. The reason I say that is because I want to make sure it gives me one full day to grade your paper and give you some feedback on it. Okay, so that gives you one day to really evaluate my comments, and you can bring up your contentions or your agreements or your inquiries in class. You know, we always start in class with those type of questions, so that would give you enough time for you to take your quiz and assess your feedback. Okay, and this is uh, the grading is rubric that I use, not rubric, but the matrix. And these are the areas in which you get graded on. You get graded on your participation and collaborate. Uh, there is, in counseling, at least in my classes, there is no one that stays quiet. You're all going to speak. You're all going to mention, you're going to make your statements. You're going to respond to my questions. And we want to see your point of view. And if in case you are the introvert, we're going to, I'll make sure and encourage you to speak throughout the class. So don't be surprised if I call out your name and ask, hey, what's your perspective on something, and I'll try hard not to single you out. But so it's going to be very important to be a little bit more active, okay, even if you feel it uncomfortable, all right? At least you know sometimes what it's like for some of your clients that are going to feel uncomfortable going to a counselor. You know, we kind of get used to that word, but for some clients, going to a counselor means, what am I, crazy or something? So, you know, it kind of gives you a feel with some of your clients that the apprehensions of seeing a counselor, and you have to divulge yourself and whatever you're vulnerable, make yourself vulnerable, and you sound like an idiot, or you feel like that was the most silliest thing you could have possibly said in class. So it doesn't matter. Just it's important that you begin to feel comfortable in speaking. And you may never feel comfortable, however, it's going to be important for you to speak. But we'll definitely talk a little bit more about that throughout the class. So you do get graded every time we meet. You either get the 100 points or you don't get the 100 points. Video reflections, you have 13 video reflections. They're each worth 120 points. And then you have quizzes, 10 quizzes. Then you have one movie reflection paper, in which you will watch a movie and you will write a reflection paper that consists of 10 pages. And 11, 12 if you include the title page and your reference page. Then you have a final exam that will consist of 50 questions. And then you have a project called an advocacy campaign program policy, or sometimes, for example, if you're in the bilingual bicultural class, you'll have your genogram. If you're in the crisis class, you'll have another program. So the setup is very, very, very similar in every class. It kind of follows this format. Okay, what might change might be either the reflection paper might be a research paper. This particular plan, the advocacy campaign program for this class, might be watching a video in a group setting and discussing it and giving an oral presentation in class. Or it may be a certain research interviewing somebody at a nursing home or at a funeral home, and jotting down that interview and then talking about it in class. So the objective is to gain these points. You're gaining points on a weekly basis, and your objective is to get to these points, and this is a range. So if you want an A, you're going to have to get between 3,670 points to 4,180 to get an A, and vice versa. It just keeps going down, depending on the letter grade that you are seeking. Hopefully all of y'all are seeking an A. So I've been very fortunate to have students that are very interactive, very motivated, and these are the video article reflections. What I'm doing here now is I'm specifically talking about some of these particular assignments. So we'll start with the video reflection, read up about it, and this is a rubric that I use. The rubric will show up when you first access video reflections and also during your grading. So you always have access to rubrics to kind of guide what type of grade you want, and you'll be able to gauge if you're responding based on my grading and feedback, if you're responding from a novice or an advanced student, you know. So it's a good gauge for you to assess where you're at. And then the movie reflection paper, again, is brief write-up on it, description of it, what we hope to accomplish. And this is a rubric that I use. You have superior, sufficient, and not minimal. So for example, here, let's say, for example, in this particular rubric, you scored a superior here, so you get the 30 points here. But over here, under the required components, you scored a sufficient. Okay, well, you get the 20 points. Well, that's 50 points right there. So you get 20 points here, 30 points here. And let's say these other two, you get a 30 and another 30. So I'm going to put 30 here, 30 here, 20 here, and 30 here. So that's 110 points. So for this particular project, you got 110 points, of which you can get up to 120 points. Okay. The quizzes, of course, you have 10 quizzes, and they're each worth 100 points. Then you have your final exam, 50 questions, 2 points each. Okay. And this tells you a little bit about the advocacy, this particular project, and as I mentioned, every course is going to be a little bit different. For this particular course, you got 10 minutes to give an oral presentation on this advocacy campaign program. And I do give you a template, an example of what that would look like, and or a template that you just complete, just follow the process, and it'll guide your research and what you need to. Then present whatever you find and within a 10-minute presentation. Please do not exceed the 10 minutes. It's informal in many ways, not very formal. I'm really interested in what you find more than I am than being that looking at the structure and the format of presentation. I'm really focused on what you found, your research, share with your peers that will soon be colleagues in your future. And these are things that I look at whenever you're doing that presentation. I'm looking to see your knowledge level that you've gained, the knowledge you've gained, how well you comprehend it, your ability to apply what you've gained, and how you analyze that and how you synthesize different concepts of what you've learned in your research, how you piece it all together, and how you evaluate that synthesis, and then your creativity and how to employ it, how to use it, how to advocate for it, or whatever it creates, your creativity. And of course, you get 14.29 points, which equates to about 100.0303, something like that. And then this is very, very important, your proposed outline. So week 1, January 16th, this is what we're going to do. We're going to spend time introducing ourselves and talk a little bit more about the syllabus, assignments, things of that sort. And this is what's going to be assigned for week 1. Again, you're going to read this chapter 1. You're going to take the quiz. After reading the chapter, you take the quiz, and then you'll watch a video. This is a great video, by the way. And then you'll enter your 2-3 paragraph entry, and you have the rubric to guide you. And then you collaborate, which is just basically signing in on Thursdays at 6 p.m. And so the reading assignment, your quiz, and your reading reflection, this tells you what's going to be due 2 days before this day. So I'm giving you the assignments that are going to be due 2 days prior to the following week. Okay, so in a nutshell, what we're going to do here this day is we're just going to spend time talking about the syllabus, introductions, which are extremely, extremely important. We're going to get to know each other fairly well over the semester. And that's what we're going to do for this class. But these are the assignments that are going to be due for the following week that are going to be due 2 days prior. Okay, so I give you the assignments ahead of time so that you'll know what to do for the following class. And then what we'll do is, as soon as in the second week, what we'll do is we're going to spend some time, have part of the class, the beginning of the class, answering any questions and discussing some of this, what you've gained. And then I'll start introducing the other part of the class. I'll start introducing what to expect for the next assignment. Okay? And then the third week, we'll talk first part of the class, what you gain from here, and the second part of what to expect for the next class, and so on and so on and so on. So quiz 2, video reflection 2, quiz 3, video reflection 3, and then just keeps on going, quiz 4, video reflection. So if there's any special projects, you'll see it in here, and that's going to be due that following week. Every assignment is always due 2 days prior to the following week, of course, except for the final, the movie reflection paper or research paper or your final exam. Aside from that, any project will always be due the week 2 days prior to the following class. And that's it. That's it for the this particular review. So I'll